When we created the Phanatic back in 1978, the idea was to have more families come to the ball game. And the purpose of it really was to stop a lot of the fighting. We had a lot of fights in the stands and guys getting drunk, and not a good thing. So we wanted to make it more of a family atmosphere, and we decided to go with a real mascot.
The Phanatic came from a young man by the name of Dennis Lehman, who was with us in our PR department back in 1978. And he saw the San Diego Chicken out in San Diego. And he came back and he kept saying, we have to do this, we have to do this. And everybody was kind of, I don't know how it'll play out in Philadelphia.
When I gave instructions to have the costume made, I said I want it to be undefinable. I don't want it to be an animal. I don't want it to be a bird. I don't want it to be anything but a green, cuddly, lovable little guy. So you can call it an animal, bird, whatever you want. To me, it's just the Phanatic.
No one really knew who the Phanatic was going to be. That kind of developed by accident, and I think that was one of the reasons why it's successful. We didn't define what it was first. We said, let's see what works. If they wanted to have something that was interacting with their fans directly and having fun in the stands, so that if an 8-year-old or a 6-year-old comes to the game and they come because they love seeing the Phanatic, when they get to be 20, they're hopefully going to recognize how much fun baseball is in general, and they'll get to know something about the sport, and they'll become fans as adults.
I remember my 7th birthday coming down with my father. You know, we had tickets right down by the dugout, and the Phanatic came, and it was just a memorable experience. Rustling on the head, and you know, just gave me like a jersey or something like that, and it was just great memories. He's a great guy.
He's so cute, he's so big, he does his little thing with his belly and his tongue. And he drives his little motorcycle around. Hot dogs, and he's so cute, we love him. Crowd. So much fun. Yay. We love him.
I thought it was stupid. I said, this thing isn't going to work. People aren't going to like this. I mean, it doesn't really belong in a Major League Baseball park. Okay. I thought it was more of a thing for colleges, but we tried it, and it was an immediate hit.
I think the Phanatic is something that now is a Philadelphia staple. It's a Philadelphia institution, and I think our fans, you know, come to the ballpark, yes, to see baseball primarily, but they also want to see the Phanatic. I can't imagine a ball game without the Phanatic here.
He's cool, funny, and that's really it. He's funny, and he keeps on going with the crowd and baseball and clapping.
Was in the costume, you know, worked in the front office and in the mailroom. I would coach him and scout him and tell him what he did right or wrong. He did a lot of it himself. He wasn't really trained all that much. He kind of figured it out all by himself.
It was nerve-wracking, and I was very scared and had a lot of anxiety about doing it. No one knew who the Phanatic was. We didn't know who he was. I tripped and fell down not on purpose. You know, it actually happened. People laughed, and I said, "Oh, they like it when I fall down." So, I mean, that's how we started developing the character, somewhat by the seat of our pants.
Phanatic. What we like about the Phanatic? Well, the Phanatic's cool because he doesn't seem like a puppy. He seems like he's human.
Yeah, he seems like a real person.
I saw an ad in the paper, Philadelphia Inquirer, a one-time ad that said mascots won it, and it didn't say anything about the Phillies or the Phanatic or anything like that. And I answered the ad and got a call from the Phillies, you know, a week or two later. It was an interesting, you know, interview too, because most places are trying to weed out, when they interview somebody, they're trying to weed out the biggest idiot. Well, here they're actually trying to hire the biggest idiot. It's kind of how I got started, and 2 weeks later, the Phillies called and said I'd gotten the job, and that started my career as a lunatic.
I think the Phanatic is the best mascot in all of baseball, and it's because of the men who have been the Phanatic. David Raymond was the first Phanatic, and he was fantastic. Tubby Raymond's son, the coach of the Delaware Blue Hens, and Tom Burgoyne has followed in David's footsteps. And just as far as fan entertainment, I think they've been great. I think they're the best in baseball. They react with the fans, and they have fun with the fans, and the fans seem to really enjoy the Phanatic.
No matter how bad things get or how good things are, you stand an even keel. You're always the same, always upbeat, always positive. And that's one of the things, like when the Phils aren't winning, he'll get up on a dugout, he'll try and put the whammy on the opposing pitcher. But he's always looking for that little edge and always staying positive. I think that's his personality.
A lot of this stuff is free form. I mean, it comes from the bizarre mind of Tom Burgoyne. He thinks things up. He asks if we can execute them, and we wind up figuring out a way to do it. He does 2 live routines a game as part of his daily routine. Then he wanders out in the 3rd inning and just goes through the crowd, wreaking havoc as he goes.
When he comes out on the field, he just kind of looks at his stage and sees what there is to perform with. And if there's players out here, particularly players that he knows and he feels comfortable with, there's players in the dugout, particularly the visiting dugout, that they throw balls to him and at him, and they have some fun with them.
What I enjoy the most, or have over the past, is his interaction with Tommy Lasorda. When Tommy was managing the Dodgers, Lasorda hated the Phanatic.
We pretended it to be antagonistic, where Tommy would yell at the Phanatic, and the Phanatic would pantomime, being Tommy, and the players seemed to get a kick out of it. The culmination of all this was that he actually one game came out onto the field and took the dummy away from me, and then started beating the Phanatic over the head with the dummy. For years after that, there was a lot of jabbing between myself and Tommy Lasorda. Since then, we've made up, sort of.
I like when he make his stomach go like this. I like that. And to all my Phillies fans,
He lets me drive his cart around downstairs.
yeah. And
Shoot the hot dogs up there. Choo!
$1996, the Hatfield came out with a new hot dog. Instead of Phillies Franks, it was the Philly Phanatic Frank. And we were trying to come up with ways to promote this new hot dog, and we thought, well, should we throw them into the stands, or should we slingshot them into the stands? Nah. And then, somebody came up with this idea of, maybe we can have this, hot dog gun, And so the folks at Hatfield made it, and we introduced that opening day, 1996, and the crowd went wild for it. People love free stuff, especially free food, and we've been doing it ever since. Yeah, the Phanatic's been shooting hot dogs ever since. The Phanatic dresses up as a chef and launches them, probably 300 to 400 feet into the stands. So it's been quite a phenomenon, that hot dog launcher.
I think he's been eating too many of the hot dogs that he's supposed to be shooting at the fans. So we kind of wonder what he does back there in his bedroom here at the stadium. But obviously he hasn't missed a meal in a while. So as long as he's not eating our lawn, that's really all we care about. We stay out of his way for the most part, and for the most part he stays out of ours. now and then, you know, the Phanatic, he's an interesting guy. He just can't help but come mess with people. Occasionally he'll drive his quad runner where we don't want him to be, so we just take his keys or we steal his quad runner.
One of the birthday parties for the Phanatic in his early years, the Phillies bought the Phanatic a three-wheeler. Now the quads are the big thing, but the Phanatic gets to use that on the field, especially before the game. He gets to really gives that illusion that the Phanatic can be in 10 different places at one time.
It's hard to come up with something different for 81 home games, but they're able to be pretty creative and funny most of the time.
He's been doing this since 1978. I remember coming here as a fan and watching the Phanatic, and I am never bored with it. And he's always somehow keeps it fresh. He does a lot of the same routines he's done for years, and every time he does it, it's funny. So that means he's good.
In my opinion, I think he's awesome. After I left the Phillies, I was with him 3 years the first time. When I came back, it was like I hadn't left. The relationship that you had built when you were with him the first time didn't really go away. It stayed there, and I think he's done that with other players that have left the Phillies and come back to play against him. You never really lose that relationship with him. It's solid.
It was the greatest job in the world. Every day you were in that costume, you were making people happy, whether they were at a game or at an event or in a hospital or working for underprivileged kids or for initiatives for inner city kids that don't have a lot. That was obviously very rewarding, but the catch-all was every time I put the costume on, I had fun. I mean, it was hard work, but nothing was more fun than doing that.
I've been doing this. This is my 18th season. Next year will be my 19th season. So we're just going to keep going until they have to wheel me into a nursing home, I think. And then that's when I'll know, well, maybe it's time to give it up. But the Phillies have been a great organization. They've been great to me. And that's been a real important part of the Phanatic success, that he hasn't been kind of window dressing. He's been out there, trying to make it more fun for people to come out to a game.
I mean, it's the Phanatic, and it's always been the Phanatic, and Phanatic is Philadelphia.
Everybody sees the mascot and sees the Phanatic and thinks of Philadelphia, and he definitely has a place here.
The Philly Phanatic, in my opinion, is not only the best mascot in professional sports, but also has become a Philadelphia icon. He's become more than just a team mascot. He's become bigger than life.
Okay, well, I really enjoyed being with you, and now I'm like a 3-1 pitch to Michael Jack Schmidt. I'm on a long drive. I'm out of here.